Then there's the rosary and repetitive prayers, which go through Western and Eastern religions of every hue, which of course originated in Babylon in the first place. These are all lies that lead people down wrong paths. Continuing with theft, the very highly acclaimed Mother Teresa, who is on the fast track to become a saint, and is no longer with us, nor are the millions donated to her. What is certain is that it didn't reach the people for whom it was intended. At this point, I can mention that the same can be said for the countless millions that have been promised by the West to places like Africa. That's what they are. They're just promises. If any donations do actually arrive in the right place, it soon finds its way into the hands of unscrupulous people, often leaders or their contacts. A correspondent of ours saw aid to Ethiopia arrive at the airport in aircraft, and then it was transferred to other aircraft, where it was dispatched to other intended destinations, such as Russia, I believe. Meanwhile, the people promoting Live Aid and all these things were highly feted in the hotels, many stoned out of their minds. However, this is nothing compared to the plunder and what is planned in the shape of things to come. The Pope has declared that if someone has a need and another has what is required to satisfy that need, the person has the right to take whatever it was that he needed or wanted or lusted or coveted, and the person does not sin. This can be your food, your car, your furniture, or your house. This is absolutely true. I don't know what happens if the person wants your husband, your wife, or your child. Can they take them? I don't know. Regarding property, Rastafarians practice this right now. What is yours is mine. And they help themselves to whatever you have. In the UK, the very same thing is happening. The local council can occupy your house if it considers that it has been empty too long. Maybe you're selling and you have a problem and you can't get a buyer or whatever, and the house remains empty. The council can move in, put people in there, and that's just too bad for you. You'll be very unlikely to get your property back. Don't let's talk about getting compensation from the government. Have you ever tried getting money out of the government? You know, when the national government over here in the United Kingdom has a budget, they have a budget, and they tell you that they're going to do this, that, and this benefit is going to come to such and such a group of people. It will come in 2, 3, 4 years' time. But when taxation is being applied, it can be applied from that night, like cigarettes going up, liquor going up, or anything, petrol going up. So when it comes to taxation, they tax you instantly, but when it comes to paying you out money, you know, it can take years, and of course things change in 2, 3 years. Who remembers it anyway? Recently in the budget, the Lloyd's tax band hit the poorest people, and people on pensions like myself. We were paying 10% on the first bit of money that was taxable. Now that suddenly jumped to 20%. If you see the size of the booklet you have to complete to get credits for these things, it's dozens of pages. Most older people give up in despair. While all this is going on, the pension funds have been plundered left, right and center. We're now told that 1 in 5 of over 65s in the United Kingdom lives in poverty. I'm sure that you will find that in reality it is much more than that, with many can't afford to eat properly or heat their homes due to the ever-increasing council taxes. More and more taxes, less and less services, more and more demands. You know, most of these people who have retired have worked hard, saved their money, been prudent. It makes no difference at all. Their savings have been wiped out. We have to realize that Satan wants to own everything, literally everything. His top man, the Pope, is against private ownership of property. They'd like to scrap inheritance tax. Or, I shouldn't say scrap it, they would like to increase it. I understand in the United Kingdom that there's talk that they would like to increase the inheritance tax to 120%. This means if you were left £100, for argument's sake, you'd have to pay the government back £120. So it is more than you got in the first place. And they're saying you won't be able to say you don't want it. These are Satan's servants in operation. So we have seen so far that the great false church supports covetousness, theft, lies, and murder. Of course, this is in addition to idolatry and sun worship. I'd just like to run through some of the top lies in my lifetime. The true reason for all the wars are lies, including the two most recent, Afghanistan and Iraq. I personally believe the moon landing was a hoax. I went to Cape Canaveral and what I saw there simply didn't make sense to me. Subsequently, there are many scientific questions that need to be answered. For example, temperatures in a vacuum. Another lie, 9/11, that massive steel frame building was destroyed by paraffin fires. Impossible. An interesting thing that has also been taking place is that at 9/11 and the Tavistock bombing in London, on those days, at that precise time, they were having exercises along the exact same routes, mirrored in every minute detail. When the actual event took place, does that sound like common sense to you? You know, now the point is, we believe that we elect governments, but really governments are selected. Most of the American presidents have been related. How is that possible? Out of the 270 million people? These are not in any particular order, but you know, we have been told that aspartame and most other sweeteners are better for you than sugar. Even fruit sugar. This means that God made a mistake when He put sugar in the fruit.